Hey everyone, my name is Josh. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a complete breakdown on how to use the Asana project management platform. Whether you're a complete beginner to Asana, someone who's used the platform before and is just looking for a little bit of a refresher, or someone familiarized with Asana looking for a few helpful tips or tricks, there's something here for you. It's my goal that by the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the skills, knowledge, and tools to effectively create projects, teams, tasks, and more. So without further ado, let's get started. Hopping over to the Asana home screen here that says a smarter way to work, we can simply get started by hitting the get started button. If I hit that button, it'll ask me to sign up with my email address, and I can either do this using Google, my Google Work account, or just my regular email. In my case, I'm just going to use my regular email here and hit that sign up button. Once I hit sign up, it's going to ask me to verify my email. Now, this is pretty simple. It'll simply send me an email to my inbox that I just put in there, and it'll ask me to verify it. So if I quickly hop over to my temporary email account that I've created for this video here, I can find the action required, reserve your Asana account, and simply go down and hit this blue button that says verify email address. Once I hit this button, it'll open a new tab and redirect me back to Asana. It'll ask me what my full name is and create a password. And if I am feeling up for it, I can also add a profile picture. In my case, I'm just going to put in my full name here, and I'll simply put in a strong password. Because this account is just used for this video, I'm okay with people seeing what it is in this case. So I'll hit that. From there, we can just simply hit continue. And now it's going to ask me, what's my primary role at Asana? And in my case, I'm just going to say I'm a freelancer. So I'll put that in there, and I can select the kind of work I do. Now, the reason Asana is asking me these questions is because it's trying to tailor the personal experience that I have based on the answers that I give here. So in my case, if I'm a freelancer and let's say I do IT, data and analytics, and product management, and hit continue, Asana is already going to be customizing the platform for me. And as you can see, the thing that's recommended for me is project and process management. This allows you to plan projects, coordinate tasks, and hit deadlines, but you also have things like personal task management, portfolio and workload management. And of course, if you're not sure yet, you can always just hit that I'm not sure yet button. In our case, I'm just going to set the default here as project and process management. But of course, you always have the option to change this later, depending on what your needs are. So if I hit this continue button here, it'll ask me to set up my first project. So let me think of a cool project name. Well, why don't we just do a cool project name? Put that cool project name in, and it'll ask me, what are a few tasks that I have to do for a cool project name? Now, in my case, just because this is a tutorial, I'm going to do the sample examples that it gives. So I'm going to draft a project brief, schedule a kickoff meeting, and of course, share a timeline with my teammates. After that, I'm going to hit the continue button here, and it's going to ask me how would I like to group these tasks. Now, in my case, for the default settings, I'd like to just swap doing to in progress. That's just a personal preference, but of course, you can change this, add more of these at a later moment, but just for the process of being onboarded, I would recommend going with just the defaults for now until you really get a hold of what Asana has to offer. From here, I'm going to hit continue, and it's going to ask me what layout works best for the project. Of course, I can always change this later, but the options I have available to me are list, looks like this, board, timeline, and calendar. Now, of course, there are more options available to me once I get into Asana, but for the purposes of this, I'm just going to start with list because that's what I like the best. I'll hit continue here, and it'll ask me to invite a teammate to try Asana together. Now, in my case, I don't have any teammates at this current moment, so I'm just going to add a test email 1 and a test email 2. Now, this will come in handy later in the video. From here, I'm going to hit continue, and it's going to tell me you're all set. Get Asana ready for all your screens. Now, at this moment, you can download Asana for iOS, Android, or desktop, but in my case, I'm just going to simply skip this for now and get right into the platform. From there, I'm going to be brought to the Asana page and right to the project that I just created. Now, it can be a bit overwhelming when you first hop into Asana because there's a lot of buttons and things you can click on, so we're going to start right at the beginning. For the moment, I'm just going to ignore the cool project name and take you to the home screen and working our way down the menu. So in the top left-hand corner of the screen, I can see the home button. If I click on that, it'll say, good evening, Josh. And this is the place where all of your information is going to be readily available to you quick and at a glance. So I can do things like completing my profile, inviting someone to collaborate, trying Asana's mobile app, etc., etc. I can also see my tasks, projects, and people, all the things that are going to be important to me as a project manager. Now for me, in this case, I like to customize my home screen. And for me, I can do this by hitting the Customize button in the top right-hand corner of the home screen. This allows me to change the background, add widgets, and pretty much customize this based on what exactly I want. So in my case, I want the drafted comments to appear here, and I also want to have some status updates for my projects. So now I can put those in there, and it's customized to me. Working our way down, we can go to My Tasks. Now, these are just my personal tasks on Asana, and this will introduce you to some of the basic concepts, such as columns, tasks, projects, collaborators, and more. As you can see here, In the recently assigned section, I can see the 2 tasks assigned to really cool project: schedule a kickoff meeting and draft project brief. Now by default, these due dates are January 4th to 8th and today, January 5th. Now for me, if I want to change the date on this, I can just click on this. And this begins the basics of Asana, because in these columns, depending on what your needs are, you can actually add or adjust these columns based on what you want them to be. In my case, if I have due date, projects, task visibility, and collaborators, that's the basics of what I would need for my personal tasks. Due date being the due date, project being the project or projects that those tasks are attached to, the task visibility, who is it visible to? Do I just want it to be visible by me, or do I want other collaborators to be able to see those tasks that are strictly supposed to be mine? And of course, if I want to actually go and add collaborators onto these tasks, I could type that in and go test and add those emails, or I could just simply go and type these in here. So in that case, we have that. Now, if I wanted to actually go ahead and add another column, say there was another piece of information that I wanted to add to this screen, I could do so by simply going to the far right of the columns and hitting the add field by clicking the plus button. Now, if I click on that, I can see a variety of field types from single select, multi-select, date, people, text, number, formula, and more. And while I'm not going to go through all of them today, there is plenty to explore on Asana, and the different tools that you can find available to you are pretty diverse. So in this case, if I just wanted to have a number, say how much money this task made, or how much am I budgeting for this meeting, things like food, etc. I can just simply put number, and it'll ask me to add a new field. Now, because of course I've selected field type as number is going to be automatically selected here, but for the field type, I'm going to say food cost for the meeting. So we'll say food cost for the meeting, and we can put it to 2 decimal points like so. And then I just simply hit that create field button. And so now we can see food cost has been added to the far right of our columns. And let's say I'm scheduling $100. You know, maybe the team's getting a pizza or something. I just type that in there and then click anywhere outside of that. And now I can see I got the food cost. Now, if drafting the project brief just has a couple snacks as the budget, you can see I can just type in 25 here. And Asana is already going to be starting to do some very smart things like summing the totals. This makes it easy and at a glance to understand the information about this. Now, that's enough for the version of my tasks. Let's get moving on to Inbox. Going back to the top left-hand corner of the menu here, Inbox is where you can see, well, everything related to the messages. Sending messages to other people, receiving messages yourself, getting updates about statuses or different parts of projects that you're working on. All of that can be found here. Now, in this case, if I wanted to send a direct message to somebody on my team regarding a task, or just wanted to send them a direct message at all, I could go to the top just under activity here and hit the send message button. In the bottom right-hand corner, you can see it'll ask me to say who I'm sending the message to, and I'll send them a message. Now, in the bottom right-hand here, I'll hit the send button, and that person, if they were real, would be notified. And this is confirmed by the bottom left-hand corner where I can see that green box that pops up saying sent message. And if I want to see any messages that I've sent up until now, I can simply go back to the top left-hand corner of Inbox there. Next to Activity, Archive, you'll see the tab Messages I've Sent. And if I click on that, I can see that, hey, there's that new message that I just sent. Before we get into the insights here, let me give you a complete breakdown building upon my tasks on the projects. Projects has essentially everything that my tasks has, but it elevates it to the next level. So in this case, there's a ton of information here, but I'll walk you through it step by step. Starting off just under the project name here, we can see the different views, like the ones that we clicked on earlier. Now, of course, by default, it's a list because that's what I chose earlier. But if I go back to here, I can see next to it, we have the different views like board. You can see that's the view of the board. Timeline. Now, timeline usually takes a couple seconds because it takes a couple seconds just for it to organize that information a little bit longer than board or list, but it eventually gets there. And then you can see the timelines for these. And then I go to calendar, things like that. Workflow, dashboard, and things like on the dashboard, I can see the dashboard of this specific project, like the incomplete tasks, completed tasks, overdue tasks. Again, you can customize this however you want to, and then I can go to things like messages and see messages about this specific project. Now, of course, there's not really any messages at this point, so we're just going to skip that for now. And then I can also see any files that are currently attributed to this project, which are also currently not at the moment. But if I go to the far right here, if I want to add any other tabs like a Gantt chart or a timeline or a calendar, that option is also available to me here. And I can reorganize these by just dragging them around. So say I want timeline, if I'm more familiar with it, at the far left, maybe to the side of overview, I can rearrange this to my heart's content. But going back to the overview right now, you can see things like the project description, the project roles, the connected goals, the connected portfolios, things of that nature, and the status of the project. While all of this would be great to get into, I'm sure you have plenty of time to explore and tinker around with this, so I'm going to skip this part for now and get into the basics of adding tasks and what you can do when you add tasks to your project. If I go back to that list view here that I was in earlier, we can see that similar screen with to do, in progress, and done. And as I mentioned, if you want to actually go and adjust these things, all you have to do is go over and click once your cursor becomes a little pointer icon. It's important not to do it when you're hovering over the name of the title of the actual task itself, otherwise you will start to rename it. So simply put, all you have to do is wait till that cursor goes and then click it, and you can see all the information about the task for the project. And in this case, mine is draft project brief with the assignee, Josh Mountain, that's me. The due date, today, January the 5th. The projects, cool project name, which is in the to-do. Dependencies. Now, what exactly do dependencies mean? Well, it simply means the tasks or the tasks that need to be completed before completing another task. So let's say, for example, that before we draft the project brief, we need to schedule a kickoff meeting. Well, for the dependencies, all I have to do is click the add dependencies and say, okay, let's see, so draft project brief, that has to happen after the kickoff meeting happens. So I'll say schedule a kickoff meeting here. And so now you can see it says that draft project brief is now blocked by schedule a kickoff meeting, which has to happen first. Alternatively, if I want to swap those around and I want the kickoff meeting to happen and then the project brief, the opposite of that rather, I hit that project brief blocks the kickoff meeting. I just simply click on that blocked by and swap it to blocking. Now what'll happen is if I go back to, let's say for example, my timeline view, you can now see that there's an arrow connecting draft project to schedule a kickoff meeting, meaning that schedule a kickoff meeting isn't supposed to happen until draft project is completed. Going back to the list view here, back to this, I can see that the icon has now changed and you can see that it is waiting on one task. How would I know when draft project brief is actually completed? Well, simply put, all you have to do is click back into the draft project brief and you can see, of course, all the details about the task. All I'd have to do is go in the top corner just above the task name and hit this mark complete button. And that task will be marked as completed and everyone in your team would be updated and notified, depending on if you choose that. But in my tasks, under dependencies, keeping going here, I can see my task fields. Now we can see the food costs that we allocated here as we put earlier, but below that we have a couple more things like priority. Now by default, the three things you can see are low, medium, and high. But let's say, for example, I want this to be urgent. This has to happen today. All I have to do in this case is hit the edit options button below that and then go ahead and add my own option. So in this case, all I have to do is, we can see the field type and the description. We don't want to adjust any of those because we want to keep that the same. But I'm going to go under my fourth option, or where my fourth option would be here, and simply hit add an option. And look, it's already red. Simply put, I'll put urgent in here, and then all I have to do is, well, I can either add it to my domain's field library or only you can edit this field settings. And in this case, I think my team's okay to edit this. So all I'm going to have to do is hit the save changes button. And now if I click back into that priority, I can see urgent's now there. So we're going to assign this the priority of urgent. So now that we've assigned it the priority of urgent, we can look at its status. Now again, by default, it has three statuses: on track, at risk, and off track. Now, of course, these are the three ones you would start with, but again, if you wanted to simply go and add more options, you would just simply have to go and edit this option, go to your fourth option here, and in this case, I don't actually like the color orange. I want this color to be bright green for completed, or should I say, like, on the right track. Oh, but how would I do that? Well, if you go over and click on the icon here, you can actually change the color. Customization is really a key thing with Asana, and it has so many diverse options for you to customize it to be exactly the way that you want it to operate. Now, in this case, I'm going to hit this one, and I'm just going to say semi on track, whatever that means. I'll hit my save changes here, and we'll put this task as semi on track. In my case, I've got one more thing here. I can go and add a comment. So say that I want to add some comments as a note for myself or something I want the team to see, but I don't want to add it in the description. All I come down here and do is click on that comment box and say, has to be done. And then you can see just slightly below that, we've got all the options to go and actually add things. Look at that. We can hit the emoji button here. I'm going to click the emoji button and then just do a little smiley face. Has to be done, team. And when I hit this comment button, currently 0 people will be notified. But if I want to notify a member of my team specifically about this comment, all I have to do is hit this @ icon here that says @ mention, and now I can mention a specific teammate or link it to a task project, or message. And what will happen in that case is, depending on who is associated with that task, project, or message, those people will be updated. So in this case, if I do test, and then I can see my test icon here, I'll say this has to be done, and I'll tag that teammate, and I can see that one person will be notified by my comment. Now, more options here like formatting, recording a video, appreciations, files, etc. That's pretty straightforward stuff. I feel free to go actually through and explore it for yourself, but right now we'll just hit comment here. So there we go, there's that. But now if I wanted to add a subtask for this, I could simply hit this button that says add subtask, and I go through the process in pretty much the simplified way, and I'll leave that for one moment. But just if you look on the left of that task now, you can see that there's a little drop down arrow next to this. And if I actually expand this, I can see the subtasks I'm currently working on. So if I added that subtask and I say, what am I doing preparing to draft the project brief? Well, what would I do to draft the project brief? Well, I'd have to get paper. I feel like that would be a good prerequisite. So I'll say get paper, and then I hit enter here, and we can see that that subtask is now added. And if I go over to the left here next to draft project brief and hit this drop down arrow, now I can see we have a subtask, get paper. It's not a main task, is a subtask. And there we go, I can go and add a new assignee, due date, collaborators. By default it's me because I was the one who created that subtask. Priority, I can say getting paper, that's probably a high priority. And status, I haven't even gone and gotten the paper yet, so that's off track. As you can see, this is the place where things start to be organized a little bit better and your projects start to come to life. Now, in this case, let's say get paper is done. What I would do is simply open up that task again by going to the right of the name of it, clicking on it, and now I can see get paper, and I'm gonna mark this task as completed. When I hit mark complete, what happens is, whoa, that looked like a phoenix with a rainbow flying behind it. That was pretty cool. We can see that the task is now marked as completed, and next to that task, there is a green check mark, and the text for that task name has been grayed out, a visual indicator telling me that that task is now completed. Now that I've got that paper, I can go to draft project brief, click on this, and then I can also see that this is marked as incomplete. So I'm gonna mark it as completed. When I click that, now that's got a little check mark beside it, and that is done. Now to actually close this little side window, I would just have to go to the top right-hand corner here and hit close. Alternatively, Asana offers many keybinds that you can actually do if you don't want to click things on the screen. So in my case, I could either hit this button here, or I could simply hit escape. I'll hit escape, and that'll close right away. What do I want to do if now that draft project brief is completed, I want to move it to the done tag? Well, simply put, all I would have to do is highlight it. So I'll highlight these two here, and this thing will pop up at the very bottom that says 2 tasks selected. So once that thing pops up at the bottom saying 2 tasks selected, I can simply choose to move tasks between sections, edit the project or section. Perhaps I can assign these tasks in particular, set a due date for them, delete those tasks, or do more things. In my case, I want to move it. So I'm going to hit the move tasks between sections, and I'm going to move this to the done section. And there we go. Draft project brief and get paper is now done. Now what I can see here is if I go back to my timeline view, which again is just another way of viewing these same tasks, I can see that because draft project brief is now done, the next thing on the agenda in to do is schedule a kickoff meeting. As you can see here, this is what starts to get the ball rolling on Asana and actually using this for effective project management. After this, we can actually set the status of the project itself. If we go next to cool project name, I can hit the set status, and I can say that the entire project as a whole is on track. Now, I can do an actual status update. Of course, this is a little bit more complex and might be a little bit too in-depth for some people, but this would be a place where I could put a status update for on track. I would say that this project's on track and talk about how the project's going and next steps. And of course, this would be a little bit of a check-in, and it's kind of a post on the project exactly. In the top right-hand corner, if you look, see I can go and post, I can add recipients, I can look at the previous updates, and this just kind of keeps things rolling along smoothly. But in this case, I don't actually want to go and create a status update here, so I'm simply going to hit the escape key. And boom, just like that, I'm back in the overview of cool project name, which I'm going to give a description right here. What sort of descriptions can I give? Well, actually, Asana offers a few in-depth options that actually provide descriptions for you. If I click this button right next to project description that says show examples, I can see welcome my team, add meeting details, add communication channels, some of the things that I can do. So I'll say welcome my team. And so what I'll do here is I'll just copy this and I'll paste that in there, and there we go. We got a little bit of a brief project description there. I can just mark this on track, and of course that would take us back to the status update, but I don't want to do that, so I'll hit escape. I can send a message to my members on the right-hand side of the screen here. You can see the timeline for this actual project where I can see who's joined, when I created the project, and this is the timing for certain things like tasks being completed, etc., etc. And I can see my project roles. Now, I'm the project owner. If I want to assign some roles to my team, I can add role here and I can say, well, what is that person? Well, I'd say that they are also a project manager. So I'll say project manager there and I'll hit done. And then for this person, I'll say, well, for this cool project, I'll just say co-project manager. How about that? So we got a little bit of a co-project manager there. In my connected goals, I can see and add goals for this project that I want to create using the existing goal templates or a blank goal. I can connect my portfolios and I can connect my key resources. And this brings us to the final part of the basics of Asana, the insights. Now, there are plenty of options here, but I'll start with number one, reporting. This is how you can see teamwork from, as it says, every angle. You get insights with charts using the real-time data across your teams, projects, and even departments. Now, Asana mostly handles most of this for you. So if I hit get started here, it starts to go right away and I can see from my personal dashboard, I can see I've got 2 completed tasks, 11 incomplete tasks, no overdue tasks, and 13 total tasks. I can see tasks by project, upcoming tasks by assignee, etc. I can actually share this with other people by hitting the share icon in the top right-hand corner, because of course, right now, this view is only private to me. And I could also add another chart to the screen if I so chose, such as goals by team, time and custom field. Now, I encourage you to go around and play with this just to see the different options it has. But moving right along, if we go to portfolios, this is where we get, as they say, the big picture. We can monitor the status and team member workload across multiple projects, and Asana can help me set up my first portfolio. For this, I can simply go and create my portfolio. And from here, this is a place where I can see all my data. I can see cool project name, the status, the task progress, the date, and the owner. That's me. And finally, bringing it to our conclusion, we've got goals. Now, setting and achieving strategic goals is something we could do here. So for this one, I'll just simply add that blank goal and I'll say finish video. And I'll say that I want to get this done in Q1 of 2024 and it'll just be me and we'll measure it by percentage and we'll save that goal for us. And we'll say again, if I click this, we're on track to finish this video. So looking down here, we can see I've got my first team. And of course, if I wanted to create new teams, I could go down here. And of course, this is the actual team I have, but if I wanted to add members to it, I could simply hit the add members key, but I could either browse teams like this, but of course, you know, there's different teams, but I want to just create one. So again, if you didn't just see what I did, I just hit the simply browse teams button. And then in the top right-hand corner, I hit create team. And this would allow me to create a new team for myself. So I'd say video editors, add some members and say whether it's public, private, or people can join by request. In this case, I'm just going to create a public team of video editors. And this is a place where all my team members, all my projects, and all my templates are going to be pretty much in one place. Easy to see. Well, I think this covers most of all of it. But wait, before we go, what's that create button in the top left-hand corner? Well, if I go and hit this create button, I can see the quick view of creating a task, project, message, team, or portfolio at a glance, or inviting new members to any of these. This is, of course, a much simpler way to do it, but I thought I'd give you the in-depth version of all of these before I showed you this because, well, now you know how they all work. So to finish this off, we're going to hit one final task, create, and in my quick view here, I'll say complete video, and I'll just put that for myself in the project cool project name. I'll give it a priority of urgent and I'll make it status on track. We'll hit create task here. It'll add completed video. And if I go to the bottom left-hand corner here where it says added completed video and click on that name, it'll actually bring me back to cool project name and we can see complete video. And with this, by marking this as completed, and with that, I'm hoping to have equipped you with all the knowledge, skills, and tools required to begin using the Asana project management platform. If you learned something and hopefully enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one.